Let's do this. Welcome to my channel. My name is Denise Kavalauskas, and today we are talking about how to bounce back from a toxic relationship, how to bounce back from a toxic divorce, a toxic marriage, however you want to verbalize it. Like, how do you recover from that type of relationship? And I want to start off by reading you some actual words from an actual person who that's where this idea came from. So, as you can imagine, I talk to a lot of mainly women, but I do get peppered in some men that struggle in toxic relationships and come to me and need that healing part. So, what I'm reading to you comes from a male. And I want to read it to you to give you like some insight of where he's at. And I know this is going to resonate because this is where I was at. This is where maybe you're at right now, or maybe where you were at. All right, so let's start there. Disclaimer. If this video or any of my videos give you any value, please subscribe, comment, and like the video, because what you do when you do one or three of those things is you help the channel grow, which reaches more people just like you and I who've been through these toxic relationships and need these types of tools to help heal. All right, let's start here. So what he says is, I was married to a covert narcissist for over 20 years, and she left me and the kids cold turkey. I met another woman, and she is my ex-wife on steroids. She is not good for me at all. I've been discarded 9 times by her. I learned my lesson, but I don't want to love her anymore. I hate that I do. I've gotten therapy. It gave me the courage to find myself again, but deep down inside, I love my abuser. It's like I miss her more than my ex-wife, the woman who abandoned me and the kids over the course of 2 decades. I just don't know how I let this happen to me. I'm a smart guy and a minister. I think to myself, did I learn this behavior from my codependent mom, who was beaten daily by my father? Or is it my need to help people? Or is it I'm trying to get back to my old normal life, and that's no more? Could it be I reek of brokenness? So can you feel his pain and the confusion about how and why this happened to him? And this is what commonly happens, right? We get into these relationships, we find that they're not healthy for us, and we're invested already, whether that's marriage, mortgage, kids, whatever, and we try to salvage the relationship because we don't want to give up so easily, especially when there's kids involved, right? You have a family now. And when it comes to a point where either the other person leaves or you decide to leave, and then you get back into the game, you get back into dating, and you now are in a relationship with somebody who's worse than your ex. And then you're like, what is going on here? What is happening? And you can't figure it out. So I want to, since we're talking about how to bounce back from toxic relationships, I want to give you 3 things that you can start working on now. All right. And this goes for anybody who's been through a toxic relationship. And even if, like the gentleman that I just read to you, got back into another relationship and attracted somebody worse than the one before, any of those situations, this applies to you. Okay. So how to bounce back from a toxic relationship. The first thing that I want you to to do for yourself is give yourself extreme self-care. Now, self-care and self-love sometimes get misconstrued. So I want to give you the difference between self-care and self-love. Basically, self-care is what you do for the outside of yourself. So massages, bubble baths, getting your nails done, getting your hair done, really caring for yourself, self-care, care for yourself. Write yourself little sweet notes to yourself. Have around you, surround yourself with things that light you up and make you happy. That being people, you know, your entire environment, everything around you, that's care. Care for yourself. Do the things for yourself that you wouldn't have done or haven't done before. Do the things for yourself that you wish somebody else would do for you. That's number one. Extreme self-care every single day. There must be something that you do for yourself that shows caring, extreme caring. Okay, so those are just a few hints. You can look up what is self-care, give me some ideas for self-care, and really just trust whatever is coming up for you. Just trust. When you ask yourself, like, what self-care thing can I do for myself today? And then just sit with that for a second and see what comes up. Okay, and just trust that whatever comes up, it may be just writing a letter to yourself. It may be just writing a simple mantra. Whatever it is, trust that it is right for you. Okay? Number two, how to bounce back from a toxic relationship. Number two is kindness and love. Be kind to yourself. Be so kind to yourself. You know, what we often do is we often punish ourselves over and over and over and over again for one mistake that we made. We repeat the punishment, or we punish ourselves even harder for one mistake that we made. Would you do that to your child? Would you do that to your best friend? Would you do that to somebody or something you love? Would you punish them over and over and over again for one mistake? Or would you just punish them the one time and learn from that mistake? Move on from that mistake. So be kind and loving to yourself. Be really kind and loving to yourself. This is important because you've been through, any toxic relationship is abusive. So you've been through abuse, whether that be emotionally, mentally, financially, physically, whatever. You've been internally and sometimes externally beat up. And so being kind to yourself is extremely important. And it goes right along with the self-care. Okay? So that's number two. Be kind. Kind and loving to yourself. All right. Number three, how to bounce back from a toxic relationship. Number three is patience. Patience and time. You know, I remember when I first came here to North Carolina and I told my daughter very early on that I would be married within, or no, did I say married or engaged? I don't remember, but one of those two within a year. And I remember she gasped, just like, oh, Mom, like that's too soon. Because I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be in a relationship. I wanted somebody that I could share my life with. I wanted to have fun and laugh and go on dates and just be with somebody, watch TV with somebody. I wanted to have that companionship. I wanted to have that best friend. I wanted to have that. And when I said that, I was coming from a place of desperation, honestly. And you don't want to come from that. So when you come out of these relationships, you have to give yourself the space and time to do these three things. And so that requires patience and it requires time. Give yourself the time that you deserve to heal, to recover, to process process what the happened, because you've been through some, and you deserve that time to process it, to give yourself the love and care and the patience and the time that you deserved all along. And it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. But I will say this, once you start to do this, you'll be amazed at what shows up for you. So if you don't know my story, I'm going to give you a little bit of a backdrop. I was married for 22 years in a very toxic marriage. I was married to him. I have 2 children with him. And it was narcissistic abuse. So there was barely any physical. Mainly what showed up was the emotional, the mental, the financial, all the other aspects besides the physical. And so I left that relationship after 20 whatever years, moved out of Florida, came here to North Carolina. And like I said, I jumped right back into dating and found myself attracting the same type of guy as my ex over and over. Very similar. There was not even maybe a handful of guys that were the nice guys, right? I pushed those guys away. So when I moved here the first time, because it's kind of a long story, I'm going to give you the short version. I moved here in 2011, was here for 3 months. My ex hoovered back around, went back to Florida for 8 months, and then came back here to North Carolina in 2012. So steadily I've been here and separated, divorced, whatever from him since 2012. All right, so here we are, 2020. But my journey, my healing journey started in 2014. So I've been here for 2 years. In 2013, I met my now husband. Didn't know that at the time because I was still a little wild child back then. I was still rebelling. I was still going through and processing all that had happened to me. So I met him in 2013, but we didn't get together until the beginning of 2015. I share all of this with you because once you start your healing process, you'll be amazed at what starts to show up for you. Amazing, beautiful, wonderful, just magical things start to show up. So, like I said, met him in 2013. Nothing really happened until the beginning of 2015. My journey started in 2014, almost a whole year, and then we got into a relationship. So I just want to share that with you to let you know that there has to be time, patience, process. There has to be that extreme self-care for you. You deserve all of this. Totally deserve all of this. And until you realize that you deserve all of this, then you'll keep repeating the same patterns. And I just want you to know that life is showing up that way for you. It's not a punishment. It's not a punishment towards you. It's happening for you. So I'm going to leave you with that. I hope that this helped you how to bounce back from a toxic relationship, doing these 3 things for yourself, and just realizing that you deserve this amazing time to heal those emotional wounds, have a time of taking a breath and just really getting to know yourself again. It's so beautiful. So what I will do, if you are ready to speed things up, if you're ready to go deep and really heal yourself so that you can find your true love. That is what I am all about. That is what I teach men and women all over the world. I will leave my contact link in the description below. Also, there's some other links in there, how we can stay in touch on Instagram and other ways. And if any of this video gave you value, please smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and comment below if you have a topic that you would like me to cover. put that in the comments below and let's continue our conversation there. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for investing this time in you. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.